Fortnite's launching the Simpsons season in 2 weeks, and from the live event, new bosses, and so much more, here is our first look. So the official date that we're all dropping into Springfield is November 1st. It's gonna last exactly 1 month and end on December 1st, but not before the Chapter 6 finale event. And trust me, the coolest part is, that's not even the next event. After all, we gotta get to Springfield somehow, and that's why in the top left corner of the FORTNITEMARES map, we're about to see a full-scale storyline event. It's been confirmed this isn't gonna be a small change on the map. It's getting a countdown, its own separate playlist, and best of all, a special downtime screen. Now, here's where things get weird, because it's gonna be a storyline event involving Agent Jones and Hope, which is crazy because we're in the middle of FORTNITEMARES right now and the bugs are gone. Despite that, they're still gonna find a way to send them back to the spirit realm they came from, and before it happens, there's gonna be some kind of build up with quests and map changes. That's not the strangest part though, because apparently Star Wars will be involved in some way. All of us have no idea how a Star Wars bug invasion, spirit realm, Hope and Jones event is gonna take us to The Simpsons, but it won't be long before we find out. So, when the Simpsons season actually starts, what are we expecting? It's safe to say Epic's adding a lot of characters in those 30 days, with 5 different bosses on the map already confirmed, and you can probably guess who 4 of them will be. Just like they did this month with the Mystery Inc. gang, we'll probably see the main family members spread around the map, with Homer, Marge, Lisa, and Bart becoming NPCs. But it would feel pretty strange having to actually fight these guys if they're bosses, which makes you wonder who would fit into that box. Like, it would be way more entertaining if we could visit places like Moe's Tavern and actually fight them for a mythic, or maybe go into battle against Sideshow Bob and Mr. Burns. One thing's for sure, Epic is not afraid to add less popular skins. In fact, we have already got our first look at 2 confirmed Simpsons characters because they're sitting in the files right now. This is Kang and Kodos, who are getting their very own free glider that you'll get through challenges. Funny enough, in the description they say, "Can you believe it, Kodos? They left us out of the battle pass." Now there is way more to this than just a look at 2 aliens, because from the way they look, this also confirms that Simpsons characters will be cel shaded, just like Family Guy and Futurama. So yes, we're expecting the battle pass to look insanely accurate. For the past few months, one of the biggest questions about this season involves Springfield. Because when it first got leaked, people were claiming they would be transported to an entirely custom map that takes place in The Simpsons. Then the rumor changed, claiming it was not in fact an entire Springfield island, but just a handful of POIs. And now it's changed again. The latest leak claims that The Simpsons will be a separate island and not Chapter 6, with changes every week. So it seems Epic have learned their lesson after Star Wars, and now instead of shoving all the collabs in the corner, they'll cover the entire island. Like, everyone wants to see classic Springfield locations everywhere. Of course, you could probably expect to find the Simpsons family home on the map, and I think it's way too likely we'll see the Quickie Mart somewhere. Personally, I think they should replace all of the Berg gas stations around the map with Quickie Marts, and it would also be pretty cool if they added the Krusty Burger, or personally, I want to see Burns Manor, because imagine how many trapdoors and secret rooms this place would have. Or a way to,
release the hounds.
I think we would all love to see Fortnite come full circle by adding the Springfield power plant on the map. If you remember, Simpsons first appeared in the game all the way back in Chapter 2 with steamy stacks and the classic pink donuts that Homer eats. Well, if they actually added the real Springfield power plant, it would just be perfect. And that's not the only way they've appeared in the game either, as earlier this chapter, you could find posters showing bugs on top of a sprinkled donut. Fast forward all this time, and it revealed both the current season and teasing The Simpsons before either of them were announced. And that's not all, because the show actually repaid the favor. A couple years ago, they parodied Fortnite in their own way, with Bart playing a recreation of Save the World called Half Month instead of Fortnite. Now, I mentioned that the season will involve weekly map changes, and of course, to make this happen, we're getting 2 major updates throughout November that'll bring a ton of content, like new skins, weapons, and even vehicles. Brand new information is dropped, which reveals the Simpsons are getting skins for cars and SUVs, and already, you could probably guess what it might involve. It'd be a huge missed opportunity for Epic to not give us Homer's iconic pink sedan. After all, these have been in Fortnite for years as a reference. Ever since before cars were even drivable, you could find pink sedans just like it. Personally though, I would love to see some more hilarious ones, like maybe the Duck Party van, the Homer, or the classic speed rocket from Simpsons Hit and Run. And the reason I mention Hit and Run is because it looks like Fortnite are going to be referencing the game throughout the entire season. Leakers have already discovered that wild wasp jars are returning, which is perfect considering Hit and Run was full of cameras disguised as wasps that you had to drive into. And with all of this in mind, a ton of players have pointed out an old leak that might actually be Simpsons themed. As you may remember, Epic's been working on a secretive Vehicle Royale LTM for over a year now, and we still have no idea when it's gonna drop. But now people think it might be perfect for a Simpsons hit and run style LTM, and you'll have a ton of cars from the show. Obviously, this part of the leak is not confirmed though. And you won't have to wait long to find out what vehicles are coming, because these will of course be in Rocket League 2, and usually those cars get leaked long before Fortnite ones. But that is if YouTubers don't reveal what they know already, as the Graph G has confirmed he is working with Fortnite directly for something special during the Simpsons release. Apparently he already knows what's coming and said Fortnitemares is cool, but next season doesn't make any sense, which is a pretty weird thing to say, right? I mean, maybe there's something that hasn't leaked yet which changes everything we know. So far, almost all of these leaks are pretty much confirmed to be happening by insiders, but there is one which I still find hard to believe even though it's from trusted leakers. Apparently, companions are finally coming for the Simpsons season, and if you've watched any of our leaks videos from the past year, you'll know people have claimed companions are dropping pretty much like every season, and then it just doesn't happen. Anyway, leakers seem sure this time around the companions are 100% showing up for the Simpsons, and assuming Fortnite aren't trolling us yet again, it will be the perfect way to add Santa's little helper or even Snowball. Itchy and Scratchy would also look cool as companions, but personally, I think they could probably get their own skins. Now, at the start of this video, I mentioned how the Simpsons season not only starts with a live event, but ends with one too, the traditional Chapter 6 finale. Considering our first event is what'll wrap up the Spirit Realm storyline, we have no idea what'll happen in the finale, but I could bet it involves the Simpsons way more heavily. And considering Chapter 6 so far has given us probably the most collabs we have ever gotten in a single year, it makes you wonder, what does the future look like? The Simpsons is probably going to bring so much attention to the game, they'll have to follow it up with something gigantic for Chapter 7. And that is why this December might finally be time for the long-awaited Disney mode. Think about it, Disney owns The Simpsons and Star Wars from earlier this chapter. It feels like these two seasons were trial runs for the main event later this year. I will say the release date is still unconfirmed right now, but we do have official leaks that reveal everything about Chapter 7 and what to expect after the Simpsons finale, so let's break it down. Immediately after it ends, we'll be introduced to a totally brand new and original battle pass, with Chapter 7 being gala themed. Now, if you don't know what a gala is, it's basically like a fancy celebration where people show off their outfits. We haven't really seen anything like this before in a season, which is pretty exciting, but it's also caused us to realize this might be the reason leakers have been talking about James Bond pretty much all year. You see, back in August, they revealed we're getting a Bond collab in late 2025, and knowing season 1 will take place around a gala, it just seems so obvious he'll be a part of it. Like, after all, he's known for his super expensive tuxedos. Now, whether he's the secret skin of the battle pass or getting his own event week with the POI, it's gonna be great. And we already know that a James Bond car has been in the works all year now, probably his iconic Aston Martin. Thanks to leak survey skins, we also may have our first look at some of the battle pass skins, but none of this concept art is confirmed for season 1. I will say fans are confident at least some of these will show up in the gala. What'll blow your mind is how Fortnite actually teased the season all the way back at the very start of this year, because they dropped a special outfit called Gala Glimmer, calling her the Queen of Winter, which is suspiciously the exact same time that Chapter 7 will release. So what happens when all the fancy gala stuff is out of the way? Well, things will be getting serious with season 2's official theme, Norse mythology. This has been a rumor all year, but was pretty much confirmed back in June when a new survey dropped revealing tons of Nordic themed concepts, like this chicken with a gold horn, or these two skins that people think are Fenrir and Ratatoskr. This is gonna be super interesting to keep an eye on, considering Chapter 5 gave us Greek mythology, and it was a pretty successful season. But with it being Norse themed this time around, fans are wondering if we might finally see the return of Kratos after all these years. After all, he is technically one of the rarest collabs in Fortnite right now. Now, if we've learned anything about new chapters recently, it's that Epic are giving us too many seasons a year. In 2025, we saw Star Wars, of course, but in 2026, it looks like mini season 1 is gonna be Marvel themed. And you're probably hearing that, already rolling your eyes because, you know, we've already had 2 of them, but apparently this one is going to be focused on Noel and the symbiotes. I am pretty skeptical about it, but we'll have to wait and see just how different it is to the previous Marvel themes. It's not just regular BR that's getting major collabs next chapter. The Lego Pass is going to be insane on November 29th. Leaks just dropped revealing that we're finally getting a Lego Ninjago theme season with its own battle pass, and people are freaking out. We wanted this for years. And Lego isn't the only one getting expecting an insane change because Fortnite OG is rapidly approaching the end of its lifespan. By the end of next year, we'll basically be in Season X, and fans are wondering where it'll go from here. Some people were assuming it would just rotate every 12 months and start all the way from the beginning again in January, while others theorize it would just keep going into OG Chapter 2. Well, insiders have revealed that it's actually going to continue, and we're going to be able to finally re-experience the classic vanilla Chapter 2 map after 6 years. I guess this also means we're getting the Midas season again, which, is going to be interesting to say the least, but it makes you wonder if the original Marvel season from Chapter 2 will then find its way into OG. Like, a lot of questions will need to be answered here. The same insider has also revealed that concerts will finally be making the return to Battle Royale in Chapter 7. It's been a long time since we actually got a dedicated concert for a single artist without it being a part of a chapter finale or like a separate game mode. Well, it looks like Fortnite's planning on bringing these back, along with some leaked musicians that fans are going crazy about. XXXTentacion is rumored to be getting his own skin next chapter, something that both the insider leaks confirm, as well as this comment from X's producer John Cunningham. He said, "We actually started talking to Epic about a month ago, and they gave us a proposition for something to do on X's birthday, but after seeing how thorough Juice WRLD was and how long these combos took, I think we'll be pushing things back in order to make it special." But there's another iconic rapper coming to the game, and he's actually in the files right now. Leakers have discovered a Rocket League car belonging to Tyler, the Creator, and this is usually how most Fortnite collabs get revealed nowadays, especially ones that aren't coming out for a while. With both of these outfits in mind, and the confirmation that concerts are returning, it sounds like Chapter 7 will be amazing for music fans. But it'll be even more amazing for pro players, as Fortnite's officially announced Rank 2.0 is coming in Chapter 7. And while there aren't many details, fans are hoping to see the return of the point system, better rewards, and a fair way to rank up without having to rely on victory royales. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.